I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
I feel the need for speed. Ow! So together we're the Three Amigos.
Right here. Stop. Batman, what happened? Are you okay?
He's slimy.
It's getting hot in here. Is it just me?
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Hey, dudes.
Hey, buddy.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to After the Weekend. We are here to review movies from the past, good movies from the past. And yes, we consider this next movie good. Biggles has already watched it twice before coming on.
Yes.
I am JT Gunn, aka Cap, and I have to my left. I have BeardOfLiberty. How are you doing, buddy? And we have a special guest tonight. He's been on before. Last time we had him on the channel, he reviewed Rockadoodle.
Yeah, Rockadoodle. That show's awesome.
We have Biggles. How are you been?
It's good, man. I've been snacking on some grindage.
I tried to get Pauly Shore on the show. I attempted so many times.
I saw that,
but nothing. I was denied his access to all of it. So no.
Maybe he just wants to see our first review, and then he'll show up for another one. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe he's watching and he's evaluating if he should even be on the show.
Correct. Did you you did tag him when you posted that we're live?
I did tag him. So maybe this will let him come on. Maybe he'll want to come show after this clip.
Yes, I would.
You can't just be throwing me around like a piece of meat like that.
Yes, I can.
And you will.
Let's see here. I'm not gonna unfollow him, R2, but we are. Hopefully he's watching. And if he is, this is one of my favorite movies. We're gonna review Son-in-Law. Before we get into that, let's go ahead and say hello to everyone. We've got Love It After Ever. How are you doing? And then here's R2 the Icky. Yeah, R2 the Icky says he's asking who keeps trying to access his email. Well, that was me. I'm having trouble accessing a few things for the show, and that was me. So I'm sorry. It was not Biggles.
It was actually I, because I am now R to the Icky, Ricky, Icky. I don't know.
You're now R to the Biggles.
Yes, exactly. That's how you spell it.
Yeah, we were talking about that and the backstage that you do kind of look a younger version of him. Squeeze the juice, Rogue Attraction says.
That's right. No squeeze the juice.
No squeezing the juice. Squeeze the juice. Wrong movie.
Wrong movie, but still a great movie. Now, Pauly Shore was kind of like this dude that showed up out of a lot of the spring break MTV crowd. Do you all? Am I dating myself here? Do you remember any of this? Do you remember the?
I never watched MTV ever.
Okay. Beard, do you remember?
I didn't until much later.
Okay, so MTV would always do these like spring break, Florida, wherever they were, right? And he was an MC, so he would travel. He was like a video MC for a while for them, and he would go to spring break, and he really just kind of took off from there, and then he went from the MTV crowd to the movie theater because people thought he was funny. So he did a lot of other movies. You know, one of the movies that we should probably review again later. He did Encino Man, which was 1992, so a year before Son-in-Law, which was 93.
And
So
there's a brief cameo in this from Encino Man.
there is. Don't give away any facts, Mr.
I don't remember any duck in this movie.
Well, it's on a farm, so it's kind of a given.
Well, I saw chickens and I saw turkey, but I saw no duck.
I think I saw a duck.
Did you saw
I
a
don't
duck?
remember what the scene was, but whatever sound Pauly Shore's character made the chickens and the ducks behind him look at him and run away.
The weasel. Yeah. So he was becoming very popular in the 90s as far as a kind of a movie comedian. So this is a good movie. We're gonna review it here. And Biggles, you reminded me about something when you were backstage. You said that this, out of all the movies he's done, you've never watched this one, but now you've watched it twice before you've came on the show.
Correct. And which is funny because I used to idolize Pauly Shore and Adam Sandler. So little Biggles, besides being a monster who caused chaos everywhere, all my jokes and stuff were all from how Pauly Shore is and Adam Sandler. So
okay,
I'm surprised I never watched this one when I was little.
Now, Beard, was this a first watch for you?
Going into this, I was certain that I had seen at least some of this, but I remembered none of it. But as much as I like some of his other movies, I have a hard time believing that I would not have seen this at some point. I just did not remember it.
Yeah, it was basically a daughter goes off to college from Midwest, North, I think South Dakota.
Dakota.
Yeah, and then she goes to California, gets kind of sees a different world out there.
Culture shock.
She gets homesick. The weasel kind of comes in and helps her, and then it all goes from there. And then they come home for Thanksgiving. So and all the fun goes from there. So we have the duck, the pig, the cow, and the weasel. This is one of the movie theater posters. I'm not sure if I remember this one, but that one's pretty funny. So here's Pauly Shore and then the daughter, and her name was Rebecca, but she was played by Carla. How do you pronounce her last name again? Beard.
I assume Gugino.
Gugino. Yeah, she was.
But I don't know.
She was pretty. I think she was pretty popular at the time too. But those are the two right there. In their looks like their barnyard.
This isn't in the movie at all because the entire time they're at the farm, she has a different color hair.
She does. She goes from brown to, I think it's more of a red blonde.
It's kind of a bleached, but not full on like bleached blonde. Yeah, most of the marketing, I don't know if any of the marketing that I saw going into this and that I remember from back when I was younger or even now shows her that shorter hairstyle. It was a rare instance of them doing all their marketing beforehand, so they didn't give something away. Either that or they put a wig on her that looks really good.
It might have been a wig, but he played pretty much himself, right? He was actually crazy Pauly Shore.
But he was a good guy.
He was a party animal. And he was, what was he, in the RA? He was the RA at the co-ed dorm, and he always looked out for everyone, even though he was a little crazy.
Yeah, because he couldn't really decide what he wanted to do. So eventually you find out he's been there for 6 years.
He was that guy that went to college forever.
Yeah, Biggles, who went 7 years. I tried my best.
Yeah. So, hey, Jacob, good to see you. And his name is Crawl in the movie. And do you remember why they called him Crawl?
Because when he would get home every day from freshman year, he'd be crawling on the floor because he'd be so drunk from guzzling the beers, as he says.
Yeah, and then his dad calls him Crotch, which is kind of funny.
Or Cramp.
Yeah. So they go into this. The daughter, like I said, she is from pretty much a conservative, I would say, Midwestern family, right? this is her dad here, and then her mom and her brother. Her brother is a kid from Sandlot, he's hilarious.
Yeah, that guy was everywhere for a
while. And then she moves, and then they move with her, and it's really funny when they get in the car because he's driving that almost I think an F-350, and he's in like LA traffic. Can you imagine that F-350 in LA traffic in the 90s? And then they move her in, and then that's when they kind of first see Crawl, and her dad is very terrified at the entire situation that his daughter is about ready to get into. So always fun. Here, speaking of California, here's Theme Park Casual. Yeah, no Weezin joining you fellas. Yeah, no Weez, no Weez. He denied.
Should have told him I was going to be on it.
Oh,
would have
then
been like your biggest fanboy is like waiting for you.
Like I said, maybe he's watching, and maybe if you're watching, you can subscribe. That would be great. So, yeah. Hello, Aaron. Good to see you. And what we're gonna get into the actors here, but out of the family, I'm gonna ask you all, besides the daughter and Pauly Shore's character, Crawl, which of the family did you enjoy? Like,
Zach.
You the kid, Zach?
Yeah.
Okay. Beard of Liberty. Who would you like to hang out with?
The granddad, actually. Yeah.
I totally see that. Yeah. Will you be out there whittling some wood?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Fishing and being crotchety. Yeah, that's my kind of guy.
Yeah. It's a wholesome movie too. It starts to, you kind of see like this family. You see that in the beginning with the when they're moving her to the college dorm. They're kind of dysfunctional, even though they seem like they're a good family, right? And they got it all together, but they seem kind of dysfunctional. I enjoy the grandfather as well. I think he would be fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
So
Walter is cool too.
Yeah, Walter the dad. Yeah, he's always liked him. He was always he's down to earth dad.
Just in general, the character, the family was written really well, I think, and cast perfectly, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just in general, the parts of this movie that are wholesome or tugging at the heartstrings or whatever are way better than they have any right to be. It being a Pauly Shore comedy.
Yeah, I know.
Pauly Shore's the best, man. I don't know what you guys are hating on the weasel for.
No.
He's great in what he does. It's just we don't expect him to be this like grounding moral center when he like starts talking to her dad about relationships with his son and his dad and things like that. It's like that's not the person you expect this to come from, but it just kind of leads itself just broadly that Crawl is at his heart generous and good person. He just has no idea what he wants to do with his life. He's kind of, I think I get the impression he's scared to grow up.
Probably, and maybe he just never had like a family like this, right? Maybe he didn't. They didn't really get into that, but maybe he didn't. So, but he. Well, I'll get into it later, but I think he really enjoyed doing this movie, Pauly Shore. But there are here. So here's kind of the main cast and kind of the other folks that are in it. So here's Pauly Shore. You got the mom, everybody there. But then you have Tiffany Thiessen, which is Kelly from Saved by the Bell. She plays Tracy.
Yes.
She's she's just another hometown girl that kind of stayed behind. And then you have Dan Gatherer, who plays Travis, which is
I hate that guy.
Which is like he's like the guy that never left town, kind of the football star. And that's a small town. Do you remember the beginning of the movie, how big the graduation class was? It was like,
it was like 20 people.
Like they could fit in one classroom and just never have to go to a different classroom. Just switch the teachers out.
Yeah. Did you notice that all the side characters start with T? Tracy, Travis, and Theo.
Huh. I didn't notice that.
But yeah,
but besides that, graduating class definitely stood out, considering that my graduating class was like 950.
Yeah, like this was small
forever.
And I'm glad they did that in the movie because it kind of showed like where this girl was from. She was really from a actual small town if your graduation class is 20 people, your
you know
town
everyone.
Your town is probably maybe 300 people, and and there's still towns out there like that, and that's why it was such a big shock to her to go to LA, pretty much, right? I think she went to some LA school where it was like almost 1 million people just in her freshman class. Travis is so punchable. Yes,
very punchable.
He's more like I want to stomp on his head.
He kind of reminds me. Yeah, he kind of reminds me when we reviewed Can't Hardly Wait, Beard. He reminds me of I can't missing his name now. The same character in that movie, the jock guy that breaks up with Amanda. So same guy. Tracy ditched Zach Morris for Travis. She did.
Well, not really, because at the end, without saying what happens, she goes back to Zach Morris. They're married.
That is true. And then you have Theo. Theo is like the farmhand, supposed to be the dad's like right-hand man, right? And he kind of gets in trouble, and for some reason he chooses Travis over Walter.
He might be a bigger piece of shit than Travis is, because he's the one who actually puts it in the drink.
Yes. We'll get into that. Mike Dexter is God. Mike Dexter is a role model. That's who it is. Mike Dexter is the guy from Can't Hardly Wait. They do kind of look alike. But this is pretty much the main cast. There's some other hidden gems in this movie as far as the cast. They're just kind of in the hallway. Like Adam Goldberg plays the guy on the Halloween scene in the college where he's the Indian. Do you know who Adam Goldberg is?
No.
Okay. Let me see if I can share my screen. You might recognize him. But he's in this, and you might see him in a couple things. Let me see if I can share the screen here. I had this already, and then my computer freaked out on me. All right, so it's this guy right here. Do you recognize this guy?
Yeah, I've seen him before. I don't know
where from, but
yeah, he's in the hallway. Well, he's in like Saving Private Ryan. So he was in the hallway, and he's the Indian. He's the Indian in the hallway where they're all dressed up. Where Pauly Shore is dressed up as like the fruit girl. Do you remember? Yeah.
Oh, he was also in Deja Vu. That's probably where I know him from.
Yeah, so there's some hidden gems in this movie, and we have some other trivia later from some other people, but we'll get into that later. Let's see here. But yeah, so Pauly Shore doesn't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving. Rebecca feels bad for him, so she's also worried that good old Travis might ask her to, because they used to date in high school, might ask her to.
Well, technically, they were still together.
I guess that's right.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, they were still dating,
but her life has just changed so much. I guess she can't see herself going back to all of that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That guy is the whiny guy from Dazed and Confused. Good job, Aaron. But like, yeah, he wants to ask her to marry her, and then she kind of freaks out, right? So she invites the Wees here to hang out for Thanksgiving weekend or week, and he actually starts enjoying himself, right? He like hangs out with the chickens.
Because like when she was about to leave school and go back home, you just need to get out there in the world. You need to mingle. You need to like become part of the culture, and that's the only way you're going to find out if you really like it or not. And he just so embraces that mentality that whenever he shows up at her place, he's like, I look out of place. We got to go get me some clothes. I love this smell. The ground is so great. And
I know.
He even tells her that they're mingling. We're mingling. Yeah. Let's go. We're mingling.
Yeah, and he did. That's right, because he did that when she felt away from home. He's like, we're gonna take you. I'm gonna take you out and kind of get you kind of acclimated. And
they walk up to the clothing store. There's a couple old men sitting outside. He just reaches over, and goes, inbreeders.
Yeah. Oh, he does ask her if she's inbred, and she's like, no.
And he's like, where your mom's your dad and your dad's your brother.
There's some really good one-liners in this movie and some really good lines from him. We would probably spend hours just going over all of them, but he kind of embraces the farm life. He really wants to learn, right? He goes out there, he tries his best. He fails sometimes. He does write his name in the cornfield, which I'm sure that was expensive.
He steps up to do that because when what's his face, the
Theo,
jerk face McGee,
Theo,
no, the other guy, Travis, right?
Oh,
yeah, he when he like first starts to propose to her, like in public, she like just like stomps on Crawl's foot to like, you just do something. I can't handle it. She's starting to have a panic attack, and he just jumps up and basically says, "Hey, sorry, you're too late. I already proposed." And she said yes. So he's got this ruse that he's got to keep up. And so when her dad comes up to him later and says, "What are you going to do to support my daughter?" He doesn't really have an answer. And so he steps up and says, "Well, what do you do?" "I take care of this farm." He goes, "All right, I'm going to be a farmer."
Yeah.
And he just like, "All right, screw it. Let's go."
Yeah. And I think that's why the family starts liking him, right? Because he's just so likable. Like he's just,
and nothing that they do keeps him down, even though Theo is actively trying to get him killed by getting him like in the way of animals and livestock and things.
Right. And he's so gun ho about learning how to do things. He's never like down and out about things. And he's just always kind of open to whatever comes his way. And I think that's why the family starts, and then he starts looking into their lives. He's like, hey, maybe, if you did something like this, you may change your relationship with either your son, your wife, or your daughter. And I think they start really liking him, which gets really rough for them because they're living this lie that they're supposed to be engaged when they're really not.
He gets to the point where he starts. It's after he goes on a fishing trip with the two patriarchs of the family, and
Walter and Walter Jr.
Yeah, and he just starts feeling bad. He's like, "Man, these guys have taken me into their family. I don't want to keep lying to them."
Right. All right, so we're gonna get into the numbers. We're gonna take a little break and do our numbers. So let's get this down.
11, 92, 12.
All right, it's not as fancy as Rick. I'm not gonna go like this year's numbers, that year's number. So you get low budget numbers here on After the Weekend this time. So Beard, you can boo me if you want.
No, that's okay. I always forget to think about this so that I don't just sit here going for 20 minutes.
So the numbers. This movie came out in 1993. We guessed the budget and we guessed the box office. There was hardly any special effects in this movie. I don't think there was any. So what do you think the budget was?
Pauly Shore was a decently big name at the time.
I remember Flea played the tattoo artist, so he had a salary too.
Yes. And just in general, almost everybody in the main cast is a face that you would recognize. So it's like they didn't cast nobodies, even if they weren't top billing, top tier folks. Screw it. I'm going to say budget was like 50 million. I have no frame of reference for that. That's what my gut says.
In 1993, it was 50 million.
Yeah, I think there was probably more payroll in that.
You have a high hopes for this movie. Was the chickens? Well, chickens probably 10 million.
Probably the pigs were the most expensive.
Well, plus for all the animals, you have to have people on set that actually can handle the animals to make sure that they're taken care of properly.
Unless you're okay. But Biggles, what do you think?
17 to 22 million.
Okay.
See, that makes
somewhere between there.
Sense.
Okay. So what do you think it made? Beard, what do you think it made? Now I'm gonna give you a hint. It did make money.
Okay.
It did make money. Aaron says 23, 1.5 for hair product. I agree with that.
Just for Pauly.
Yeah. He had some really curly hair. He still does.
If I'm going to stick with my budget, which I do think is high, but I'm going to go ahead and stick with it and say if it made money off of that, I'm going to say like probably didn't make much, so I'm going to say like 60 to 70 million bucks. I think it probably did better on home video.
Okay. Yeah, it might have. It might have made more money off home video. Biggles, what do you think?
24 million, 25.
Okay. All right. Well, here we
I don't think
go.
it made a lot of money.
Does anyone else want to guess in the chat besides Aaron? This is your opportunity. I'll give you a few minutes.
$15.
It made more than $15. Made more than $15.
Good. Deserves to make $1 billion.
I remember this being advertised all the time. That may be the reason that I feel like I actually saw it, is I just saw so many ads for
R2
it.
says he thinks the $9 million for budget, 40 for box office. Okay. He might be cheating.
If I'm way off, I'm going to say mine was the modern numbers, and we'll just have to confirm that later.
No, we don't do that here.
His is the inflation.
All right, here we go. Budget was $8 million, estimated $8 million.
Woo!
And box office, it made in US and Canada $36 million.
I was way off.
Yeah, Rick cheated. He was closer. So
he has the answers.
8 and 36, huh?
He does have the answers. But yeah, that was it. That's what I found, anyways. Rick probably found something different, but this is what I found, and he's not on the show. So
what does Google say?
Well, this was from IMDb. So
dang it! Even with inflation, I'm way off.
What was it with inflation?
17,390,000 budget.
Oh, I was inflation.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Woohoo!
I mean, so it wasn't really a high budget movie. I know it was on Disney. I know Disney was the main company with it. I know they released it because I think he was also on the Goofy movie, wasn't he?
He was. He's Bobby. It's the Leaning Tower of Cheese.
Yeah, that's right. He was.
We're talking about Pauly Shore here, guys. It's right. I based my whole life on him.
So I just figured he would have commanded a bigger paycheck at this point, but I guess not.
Maybe not.
This was like his second movie, wasn't it? It was before Biodome and in the Army now.
I believe so. Let me double check on that.
I thought it was after Biodome, but I guess I might be wrong.
But this is the scene where they're at the dance hall where this is where her hair is actually what she looks like when she comes to visit.
This is the best part of the movie.
When he dresses up
her mom,
makes her look all pretty, and then the dad's just like kind of like speechless. He's like, "Look at the wood I got on made for him," or something like that.
But no, that's him pointing to the old guy. He's like, "Look at the wood I gave him."
Yeah.
Let's see here. So his first, let's see what his first. Let's see, like his So his first movie was Encino Man, if you want to say that's his first, like him in the movies, as a main character. Then Son-in-Law, then In the Army Now, then Jury Duty, and then Biodome.
Okay.
I still think Jury Duty is hilarious, even though my friends say it's the worst movie ever.
Jury Duty was a fun movie. Biodome, let's see here.
I definitely watched that a bunch.
That was his kind of
SSSSA.
Biodome. The budget was almost double, and it made a lot less.
And fun fact, Lovett says she's watched Biodome more than any human should have.
Well, I used to live by it. It was like 2 hours from me.
Oh,
There was no Pauly Shore. But yeah, so Biodome was almost double the budget, but it didn't make it made almost less than half. So let's just go down the line here. Let's see what Jury Duty did. Jury Duty was funny because he was the one where he's on that murder case, right? In the jury.
Yeah, where he's like, "You're going to pay me," and then he snuck into the room above that was like super sweet. And then like he broke all the rules of Jury Duty, and he's like, "We can't convict this guy." And he's like trying to convince them that they're wrong so he can get paid more and not have to do anything.
Right. Now, Jury Duty was same thing, almost half the budget, about 17 million, and then it literally just made it just made it. It did not make or lose any money. So that's interesting. And I think Encino Man. In the Army Now was a fun army movie. I think that one was. I like that one. That was fun.
I love In the Army Now. That might be my favorite Pauly Shore movie.
Now that movie, that was more close to Beard's budget. That was at $28 million, and it looks like it barely made it as well. So he didn't really make
shit
a lot
up in that movie.
Yeah, there was some special effects. Encino Man. Let's see here. That movie looks like that one was less budget than this movie, and made money, but made almost about the same. So I wonder if that's because of Brandon Fraser. Yeah, his movies didn't make a lot of money, but he was still popular in other areas like comedy, MTV. So he wasn't doing too bad. So yeah. Yeah, this is a scene where he bumps into her mom in the shower right before this scene, and he thinks it's her, and he's like, "Whoa, you kind of gave me a simmy."
Yeah.
Great stuff in Pauly Shore. And now Biggles, you said that when you kind of leaned into this where it's getting close to the end of Thanksgiving. He wants to have a bachelor party, sorta, because he's supposed to be engaged. He wants to have it around this little farm town. And do you want to kind of explain what kind of happens to him and why it almost all blows up in their faces?
Well, all right. So as we know, Crawl is actually a pretty good guy from throughout this. So Travis offers to throw him a bachelor party, but really it's just his way of trying to get Rebecca back. So even though I'm pretty sure he was cheating on her earlier with Tracy, or at least told Tracy that they broke up while she was away, because Tracy wouldn't have done it because of how she acts later on in the show or in the movie.
She's a side piece and she doesn't mind being one.
Yeah. So they go to I'm guessing a karaoke bar because he goes to sing karaoke. And
I think it's the same dance hall that we see.
Yeah, it's not a big town.
Yeah, probably. So the karaoke bar / dance hall / probably company picnics. I don't know. It's the town bar, I guess, with karaoke. And Travis and Theo have a plan to break up City, as Theo calls him, with Rebecca. So they go to the bar, and Theo dumps a whole bunch of pills in his drink. And
like Bill Cosby style.
And when he's chugging them, you can see all the pills in his drink. They're still in there. They haven't dissolved yet.
Those pills would kill him. That many pills would have killed him.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
It's Pauly Shore, so it's Pauly Shore, so he'd probably be like, "I'm fine," But he blacked out. He saw two Tracys. We're not using her real name, and she was like dancing for everyone. She was like she was dancing for everyone because she's the one they got for the bachelor party, and then he started singing "Thank God I'm a Country Boy" or something like that.
Yeah,
and
which he loved that song because he played that song in the tractor when he was riding. It was John Denver.
Uh-huh.
He loves that song. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And well, he did say it means a lot to him. And then she goes to dance while he's singing, and he passes out. And then she's like, I was just getting started. And then Theo tells her to come over and gives her the drug drink because he's an awful human being. And I think he's even worse than Travis now because he's the one who drugged them. And then he's the one who drove them there. And he's the one who put them there in the barn together. And Rebecca finds out or sees it. And she freaks out. And they fight for 9 minutes and 20 seconds. And then they make up. There you go.
Well, there are little details in there that I think are really good. Like,
All right, it's on you guys for the details. Go.
When Tracy goes back to her car, she gets in, and I did notice that she had to scoot the seat up. And I thought, that's weird. Why would you get in your car and have to scoot the seat up? But that comes into play later when they realize that
she notices that
obviously
too.
Had to drive them there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then she also finds the pills.
And she shows Polly because Polly is he's kicked out of the house because they find him in the barn. The two of them passed out. He gets kicked out. He's trying to hitchhike himself home, and she pulls up and says, "No, something's fishy about all this." And they basically can confront Theo and Travis at Thanksgiving dinner. And Walter's a good dude because Walter's like, "Wait, let him talk because he probably thinks something's fishy too, right?" Because it's everything that Pauly Shore did. If he even did any of this to Tiffany, is that wasn't really his character leading up to this, right? Because like they've been hanging out with him. They haven't noticed any of that kind of activity. So that's why they probably thought it was kind of out of the way. And I did love the grandfather when he was like, I can't remember the line of what he said, but he like started talking about Pauly Shore.
It really tweaks my melon to see a buff bro like Crawl here get wheezed on by a greasy scumbag like you.
Yes.
That was good.
So just chill. And he elbows with the wife, or well, not his wife, his daughter-in-law.
And then Walter fires Theo. Theo's like, whatever. It's like, what is he? And
Polly's like, you're going to need a lot of food stamps.
I know. Yeah, he was pretty much.
Also like how Crawl breaks out the Jeet Kune Do on Travis right there at the end. Beats him up a little bit, knees him in the nuts, and leaves him crying on the ground. Because we kind of skipped over it when Travis like jumps in to rescue Rebecca after discovering this horrible situation that he set up, and just how slimy that dude is.
Yeah, because he was even there waiting.
Yep.
Yeah, he just like comes out of nowhere. Like, where are you? I would have been like, what were you doing? Like, why were you?
Why are you here?
Yeah, I know.
Why are you on my porch?
Yeah, it would have been like, what is going on here? Like, it's just...
yeah.
Like what? It just doesn't. It just kind of gave it creepy vibes all over. He was weird from the beginning, though, right, Walter? Travis. He was because even when he was sitting at the graduation, he was sitting next to he was doing that kind of thing. He was sitting next to Tiffany. I have a feeling that those two had something even way before this, and the girl just never even knew it, So, but yeah, fun stuff. So we're gonna do now. We always do this when we show these movies. Like, what else was in the movie theaters, and you're gonna be surprised what was kind of out in the movie theaters at the same time. Maybe you can guess, but let's see what's in the theaters.
Shut drums and stop kicking my face! We're trying to watch the movie!
So Jurassic Park was the #1 movie at the time when Son-in-Law was new. Jurassic Park was in its 4th weekend. And then also Sleepless in Seattle. Hey, Nicole. And I guess Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was re-released. And then Dennis the Menace beat out Son-in-Law.
Classic.
I probably saw Dennis the Menace when it came out. So I'm ashamed that I helped it beat Pauly Shore.
Look at this list of movies. Though you have Last Action Hero, Jurassic Park, Groundhog Day. We've reviewed that one.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger, but if you've ever seen the reel of Cliffhanger in the intro, remember the beginning of Cliffhanger when he loses the guy's girlfriend? There's a real Instagram reel out there where someone dubbed it over a Mentos commercial.
Oh no.
Hilarious.
Oh my god.
By far one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Yeah, summer of '93 was a wonderful time for movies. I would agree with that. But look at this, man. We do this every time. Every time we review a movie from either the 80s or late to late 90s, this is the list of movies when you go on a weekend. You don't really see this much anymore.
What is The Firm?
The Firm was the number one movie at the box office besides Jurassic Park. The Firm is about a John Grisham book, I think, with Tom Cruise. It's a Tom Cruise movie.
Oh,
so
okay.
He would have never.
Sense.
Yeah, he would have never. It's a good movie.
You couldn't go to the theater at this point and just say, I want to see that Menace movie, because there are two on there with that word, and they are very different movies.
Oh yeah, Menace to Society and Dennis the Menace are two different movies. You are absolutely correct.
I hear they're actually exactly the same if you watch them.
Maybe. But it's interesting. If you look way down there at the bottom, Groundhog Day was in the theater 21 weeks. And they're still making a little bit of money. Look.
I like how they put the weeks in release for Snow White.
It's like 3,000.
2,808.
Yeah, don't just ignore that one. But as you can see here, Sleepless Seattle was a good movie, Jurassic Park. So there was some of the three best movies of all time. I mean, two best movies of all time really is in here. So pretty crazy. And then Pauly Shore did have a quote on this movie on one of his shows. He said, "Son-in-Law was kind of my crossover. It was the movie that brought me out of my MTV audience into the mainstream." So I would agree with that, because this was right after Encino Man, and it wasn't really his typical comedy. I would say. So he was able to break through and kind of get some people to see what he was capable of doing. So here's another picture of the lovely couple here. He was
having a blast every moment of this movie.
He was, because this is his fly fishing gear.
Yeah,
that scene was funny too when he was trying to fish.
He throws it into the water.
Yeah, but at that moment he realizes that the grandfather gives the dad the hard time, just as the dad gives the kid the hard time, and he kind of like talks to him, right? So they're like, you're kind of doing the same thing that you to your son that you get annoyed about that your dad is doing. Yeah. So R2 was wondering, he thought Menace to Society was a sequel of Dennis the Menace.
They were just remakes.
It came out at the same time.
Exactly. They remade it.
They were about the same comic book characters done by two different people, like Godzilla, when they do that.
But it's kind of like when you have Ants in A Bug's Life, studios kind of copying each other. That's what happened right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that fishing scene was fun because he also let the fish go.
Yeah.
He just puts it back in the hole.
And then classic stuff. So they didn't get married at the end. They didn't like rush into there was no scene about them rushing into getting married. What they did say was, hey, we actually started liking each other. We're into each other. Let's see where this goes. And the parents respected that. And I thought that was really good, because
I'm sad there was a sequel. We'll get a sequel now because it's 2024. So we'll get a sequel, and it will be them and their kids living on the farm.
Oh, and they go to college, or maybe they're so crazy. Their kids are so crazy. They go to college and they change. They like go the conservative route.
They no longer snack on some grindage.
Yeah, maybe that's what will happen. They'll completely be different than
A
their
whole bunch
parents.
of little weasels running around.
Like they'll be like the hippie farmers, right? The weasel and and Rebecca, but then their kids will end up being something completely different. I think that
They're going to be at the 7-Eleven squeezing the juice.
So we do have a little bit of trivia. One of them was that let's see here. I'll remove this. I guess Brandon Fraser's in this movie.
Yeah, he's in when they go to college, he's in the thing and he's like lighting something. And I think he eats something and someone's like, gross. And you're just like laughing.
He's dressed exactly the same as he is at the end of Encino Man.
Mm-hmm.
And Crawl comes in dressed up with the fruit hat and the everything. And Brendan Fraser's character reaches up, grabs a plastic frog out of there, tries to light it, and then just takes a bite and then walks off. It's a costume party that's what's going on. And Crawl just kind of, he looks at him, looks back, goes, no. It just leaves it. It's a nice little nod to it.
And he's like, great costume. Well, I think he's in every one of his movies because I know he's in the army now. I know he's obviously in Encino Man. He's in this, and I think he's in Jury Duty at one point.
Yeah, I have a feeling Pauly Shore and Brandon Fraser were probably once really good friends. Hopefully, they still are today, but who knows, right? So, I think they were once probably really good friends because it seems like they always liked hanging out with each other. But yeah, he was dressed up as like the last scene in the movie because he went to college after Encino Man. Yeah. And I guess they kind of look similar. Let's see here. His Crawl's original name was supposed to be Snake.
Crawl is so much better.
Yeah, it does. I don't think you could come up with
I preferred Fred. So here's a trivia for you. He's Fred Jr. because he calls his parents by their names and he says Fred when talking about his father. So he is Fred Jr.
Oh.
So like so like Walter and Walter Jr., which you find out because Pappy calls him Jr., that it's Walter Jr. and Walter Sr., and then he is Fred Jr. and his dad is Fred.
Okay.
Didn't catch that.
So there's a pair of juniors.
All right. Well, Travis's original name was supposed to be Chad.
He doesn't fit a Chad.
Let's see here. Now, this was funny. I thought this was funny, kind of interesting from Disney. It was originally supposed to come out in May of 1993, not July. Disney moved it to July so teens, the target demo, would be out of school.
Smart.
And more likely to see it. Disney wanted to offer audiences an alternative to Jurassic Park and Sleepless in Seattle, which were mega movies at the time. We saw that in the list there.
Yeah, it's not a terrible plan. It is risky going up against something like Jurassic Park. Of course, they could only assume how big that was going to be at the time. But there would have been enough marketing out that they probably would have had a decent idea. But it's not a bad strategy. I can see the logic in it.
Yeah. And Rebecca already had the tattoo. So that's a real tattoo, by the way. There you go. That's it. There's not a lot of other interesting ones.
That Pauly Shore.
There's like bloopers, but there's not really like great what do you say, trivia. So.
Yeah, it seems like everything in this movie, like even production wise, is just pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I guess people didn't like the fact that they made it Thanksgiving in South Dakota. And I guess at that time there's supposed to be snow everywhere. And
it would be pretty cold even if there wasn't much snow on the ground.
So maybe they should have picked a different state. But yeah, that was pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, overall, people got a lot of kick out. Got a lot of people like this movie. I think it's more of a cult classic now than like someone probably wanted to run and go watch it in the beginning. But I enjoyed rewatching this movie. We normally we rate this thing on Criticalist, but for some reason I cannot sign in and I don't remember the password. So
I blame R to the icky.
we mostly do when those things happen.
You're over here trying to hack your way in, and he's getting like text and emails back and forth saying somebody's trying to access your account.
That was me. I was
Instead
doing all
of
kinds of stuff.
blaming me.
Well, what's
Even
funny
though
is
it
I'm
was
the one
me.
that set up the Criticalist account, and I can't even get in there. So whatever. So if we were to pretend rate this on Criticalist, Beard, you know what we normally do. We do the scale over there. Would you do this a rad, an excellent, bogus? What would you do?
I'd probably give it an excellent.
Okay, excellent.
Maybe a low excellent. I mean, because it's like I said, the kind of dramatic beats, they don't last very long, but they're there and they're better than they have any right to be in such a dumb comedy.
Right.
Usually when you get this kind of ridiculous comedy and a ridiculous comedic actor like Pauly Shore, you don't expect to have those kind of serious moments that actually land very well, but they do. But it's also kind of scatterbrained all over the place at times. So I got to knock it for that. But that's also probably because they were working with Pauly Shore, who wanted to kind of ad lib some things, and you just got to work around it. I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I very much enjoyed rewatching it.
Hey, guess who got logged in?
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Doing it live.
All right, I got it. I figured it out.
R2 reset the password to JT.
No,
just log in.
no.
You dumb. Oh,
I just finally was able to figure it out. So it's.
It was I Love Biggles.
It was. I Love Biggles. All right, so here's Criticalist. So Beard, you're saying you're right around most excellent. You're up in this.
Oh, it's I forgot it goes most excellent. Okay, maybe a high rad. Mid to
high rad. Okay, Beard. Okay, Beard. So you're a high rad. Biggles, what do you put in
most there? Excellent.
Okay,
I
so
saw that coming.
Okay, you're right around here then. So we're kind of in the middle. I wouldn't give it a most excellent. I think I'm more of. I would say we're probably right here. Right here.
I can only speak for myself. I'm pretty strict on what I rank movies. So if I give anything like above a 75, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, let's put it this way: if it made you laugh, if you remembered it, if it made you remember something when you watched it the last time, then it's a good movie. And I
did all three of those things because I watched it yesterday and I watched it today. So most excellent times 100. Let's go.
All right, we'll put it at 80, 81. How about that? We'll put it at 81. That will give you a most.
I like it.
Okay. There really isn't a lot of graphic language, right?
They say shit once, and I think it's when Travis steps in the poop.
They say shit once.
Which at that point it's just a joke. So yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. And then
when he steps in poop,
it's not too violent.
There's a punch in the face and a knee in the nuts. That's all the violence.
Yeah. I would classify it more as like slapstick and not actually violence.
Right. I just a little bit. I don't think there's a little bit of sexual content in there. Just because of the.
When the dad pushes the beds together, I'm like, why are they on two twin beds anyways?
There goes our family-friendly rating. We never really had one.
even today, sleep experts will tell you if you want an honest to good night's sleep, you don't share a bed with somebody. So there is actually some logic there. But yeah, that was a nice little comedic beat when he
that was so funny
across that wood floor.
That was so funny.
And then family friendly. I would say very family friendly movie.
Yeah, this is family fun. Family fun.
So there we go. We'll submit that there. We'll say Biggles. Let's see here.
15 out of 10. 15 out of 5.
15 out of 10. There you go. Now let's see. There we go. Yeah, we'll do this. Biggles loves it. 15 out of 10.
You're properly represented.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone, if you wanted to do your own ratings or whatever on Criticalist, you can. And I'm sure Blaine over there loves our reviews because they're they're like, there's a lot of nonsense on our reviews. Like, we do the numbers and everything, but there's a lot of this. So,
or if we disagree on something and JT just says, well, I'm running the show, so I'm putting it here. And then he gets down to the bottom and gives disclaimers and qualifiers.
yeah. So we do have, you can visit our profile there on Criticlist.
Wait, what was that horrendous one?
I don't know. That was someone else's review, but you can see other people's reviews. You can see ours. Like last time, once the stream's over, we'll post our video in there.
I am so glad Son-in-Law is better than the Phantom Menace, as it should be. As it should be.
So you can see our reviews here if you want. We have Gremlins on here. We have a couple other stuff. So it looks like some of us have been rating reviews as well. But as you can see, Black Sheep. This one, was a fun review that we did. But yeah,
that's the song, right? That's the movie about the song.
I think the song actually came out later.
It did, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So there we go.
That's
Criticlist. Definitely check it out. Again, that's criticlist.com. They're a fun group of dudes over there. And
not sponsored. We just like them.
Well, we just like them. Yeah. All right. There you go. That's Son-in-Law. And again, sorry, Biggles. I could not get Polly on the stream. I think you would have
Scared him away.
Yeah, I think you would have really fanboyed on him.
I probably would have.
That's what she said. Michael.
Yeah, you would have fanboyed all of them.
Definitely.
I think if we were ever to get Pauly Shore, and who was the other character? Adam Sandler on the same screen together, you probably.
I would die. Just be like.
That's okay. We can have Pauly Shore off and try to give you CPR.
I would accept.
Well, we do enjoy, like I said, the last time, it's been a while since we had you on, so we enjoy having you on. Thanks for coming on and hanging out with us. And we got to have you on more often. I think it's great. So if you're ever free again, we'll probably hit you up.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Me and Beard are we're not sure what we're going to do this Saturday. We're not sure what we're going to do on Monday either. So we'll let you all know on our Twitter. You can find us After Weekend over there, or x.com, sorry. Or you can also follow our community section on YouTube. We'll kind of tell you there. We're just kind of, what do they say? Flying at the seat of our pants here, Beard? Is that what we're doing?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
AKA making.
You guys are wearing pants?
No. Yes.
I felt like looking nice today. I think they're optional, but I felt like looking nice. Sometimes you just want to feel pretty.
Beard even said he may on Saturday, if we do a Saturday stream, he might even braid his beard.
I've done that before on other shows when there's a big panel and I'm like all small in the corner just to see if anybody notices. Sometimes they do.
Maybe someone will braid. Maybe he'll braid his beard. But we don't have a plan yet for Monday, but who knows? It could be something as crazy as Son-in-Law or something completely different. But keep the lookout there. And then, Beard, do you have anything going on in your neck of the woods?
Tomorrow evening, I'll be over with Jacob Ironside and a couple of other folks taking a look at the movie Speed.
Another great movie.
It's been a long time since I've seen that one, so that'll be a fun revisit. And then Thursday,
I want you to do me a favor on that stream, though. I want you to say the hot shot line or pop quiz line. I'm sorry. Say pop quiz hot shot. That's what he says that like 3 or 4 times in the movie.
Okay. Thursday, as usual, I'll be over with Roman of the Empire and the full panel as we get together for our therapy session regarding the Acolyte season or episode 4.
I don't know why you're watching that.
My condolences.
Yeah.
Actually, I've gotten past the being upset.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
The way I look at it like this. If I want to have an opinion and have people take my opinion seriously about something, I need to spend the time to actually sit down and watch it, even if I am not really enjoying it.
Are you watching it at least on the dark waters?
I sail.
Okay.
I sail.
All right. Okay.
He's got the Jolly Roger ready to go.
All right, Biggles. I know you're probably not watching Star Wars shows. What are you up to?
I'm watching Kaiju number 8, and I got this from it just the other day. This is Kaiju number 8. It's awesome.
Nice.
It's a freaking amazing anime. I spent $600 on the franchise already after watching the first 6 episodes.
Very cool.
So I have a problem, and it's freaking amazing. And I just found out that I have to wait 2 weeks for the next episode. So I might have to just go read the manga so I know what's going to happen again, even though I know it's going to happen.
And you're reviewing these on your channel?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay. And you're also doing more. You're still doing the game stuff too, right?
Yeah, I've been doing like streams where I'm gaming, but I think I'm really going to focus more on like one game at a time, like videos wise, just stream stuff that I'm playing. And then I think I'm going to focus more on like mangas and anime than anything else now, because I like cartoons. So
yeah, you can follow Biggles' channel and I'll put his description or his stuff in the description, and you can check his channel out. And he's always fun to watch. He's always fun to watch play games. So since I moved to Texas, you're on at like different times now, and I'm always like lost track of time. So
yeah, because we don't change times, and no. We're like, oh, it was 7 o'clock here, and then you're like, why are you on at 8 o'clock now? And it's like, what? No, it's still 7 o'clock. It's because you guys all change times and I don't.
Yep. And because when I was in Arizona, you were on in the mornings. Mm-hmm. And now you're like on in the middle of the day, and it's like messed up my brain for a little bit. But I have watched you when you're not live, so there you go. But all right, everyone, it was fun hanging out, talking about Son-in-Law and Pauly Shore. Again, Pauly, if you're watching and we passed, maybe we can review Encino Man or one of your other movies, and you can join us and give us some insight. I think that would be fantastic, right, people? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Very much so.
All right, everyone. You have a good rest of the week. We'll see you next time on After the Weekend, and we'll talk to you later. See you.
Bye.
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the Palace, backflip gainer into the trash.
This is it. Man, big, just